Okay, we're going to go over the 2-1-2 method. So this is a little bit of a weird one because it's ELA based, so most of what I'm going to be doing is explaining to you why you should do this. So first off, here's what the 2-1-2 method is. It's you read the first 2 sentences of a passage. This is all for reading comprehension. Then you read the first sentence of each paragraph. And then you read the last 2 sentences. That's 2-1-2, get it? Here's why. The first 2 sentences are the thesis of the passage. The first sentence of each paragraph is the topic sentences, and then the last 2 sentences are more or less the conclusion. Here's the information that gives you. First of all, almost always the first question on reading comprehension is going to be the main idea question. And the information that you just read by skimming in the 2-1-2 way is going to give you the main idea. The main idea answer should come up in the majority of the 2-1-2 sentences. So if it's something that they spend a lot of time on in a paragraph, but it doesn't come up in any of the other paragraphs, that means it is not the main idea. You want to use something that comes up in the majority of these 2-1-2 sentences. Here's why this is useful. First off, obviously it saves time, right? Because you're not reading the entire passage. It also saves energy because these passages can get really exhausting. They can be very dense. The language can be difficult to parse. You're going to make your lives a lot easier if you just don't read the passage. Now, when it comes to getting things right, it's still preferable to reading the whole thing. And here's why. There are no extraneous details. If you read the entire passage, you might get bogged down in information that's similar to what you need to know, but isn't the same as what they're actually asking. And so you think you remember the answer, but it's not quite right. If you use the 2-1-2 method, especially if you underline those sentences, then you know where to look for the answers when you get to the questions that you have. And then the last thing is, when you're going through the detail questions, which is most of the questions, you always want to flip back and look at the passage to find the answer. So it's like a word search puzzle now. You look for a clue word, and then you find either that word or a synonym. You look for a clue word in either the question or the answer, and then you go into the passage and you look for something that talks about that concept. Because you don't have this extra information in your head, you are now forced to go back and look in the passage, which is great because it's really easy to trick yourself into thinking you remember something when you're not quite remembering it correctly. So 2-1-2 is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of energy, and you're more likely to get the questions right. Now, some people are really freaked out by this method, and it feels counterintuitive to not read the whole passage. I would encourage you to try it, at least on one practice test, and don't let it stress you out too much because practice tests are low stakes, not a huge deal. And see how it goes. See if you get more right. See if it goes faster for you. And then if it doesn't, of course, you can find your own method. No matter what, though, we recommend skimming rather than reading closely.